Forbidden Desires, an Yggdra Union fanfiction by krisslanza. Spoken by Selkuth. Chapter 2. Disclaimer, I don't own Yggdra Union, blah blah blah, I'm not making money off this anyway. Author's note, I was going to just one-shot this, but I couldn't stand leaving it seeming so unfinished. It was begging to be finished! And thus it shall. Special thanks to Feral Phoenix and Lord Rosler for their reviews. The witch practically shoved the doors to the guest room open, revealing a surprised-looking blonde with a cup of tea in hand. Rosary's heart almost caught in her throat at seeing the girl she adored, the girl she practically lusted for so close. With the sun streaming in through the open window right onto Yggdra, it made her seem like a divine angel. Flawlessly blonde hair, those big innocent blue eyes, and her angelically pure skin. In spite of herself, the witch shook her head to clear her mind. No, no, no! I need to stay focused. Stop thinking like that for now. I have to tell her. I have to. If I don't, it'll just tear me up inside forever. Rosary, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Said the blonde girl softly, putting down the teacup on the table, giving Rosary a smile sweeter than any sugar in the world. Ah, yes it has, Yggdra. What brings you here? Asked the witch politely, although she knew perfectly why Yggdra was here. Well, a messenger has told me you've been quite distant lately. Is something bothering you? You know I'm here for you, like all of my friends. If there is something on your mind, asked the young queen softly, strolling over to one of the cushy chairs in the room and taking a seat. She motioned to the one next to her. So, is there? Well, if me wanting to grab you and kiss you for all you're worth right now makes me distant, then yes. The honey brown-haired witch had to use just about every ounce of her willpower not to just that. As much as she wanted to tell everything to the queen, she had to do it just right. Rosary could never forgive herself if she could do something to hurt the young blonde girl she adored. Not even her own death would be enough to justify hurting her. Well, perhaps there is, answered the witch, taking the offered seat. Would you like to talk about it, Rosary? Some tea, maybe? Offered Yggdra, motioning to the tea tray on the table. Well, you did go out of your way to come here, so yes, I guess I should tell you what's been on my mind. The witch paused to pour herself some tea and take a drink of it before glancing over at the blue-eyed girl, her pale red eyes studying the girl carefully. But I'm not sure if you'll like it. Why wouldn't I like it, Rosary? Have I done something to make you be like this? Spoke the young queen, a hint of sadness in her voice at thinking she had done something to hurt Rosary. No, not at all, responded the witch quickly. You've done nothing to harm me. You've been nothing more than a great friend, a greater friend than I deserve. Well, I'm not sure about that, said the girl softly, a touch of red on her cheeks. Oh, no, don't blush. It makes you look so adorable. Ah! Focus, Rosary, focus! Stop staring, stop staring. It's true, it's not a common day thing a noble woman like me gets to have the queen of a kingdom such as a close and important friend, you know. It's nothing, really. I'm not all that great. But you are! Cut in the witch quickly, her eyes flashing with defiance. You've done incredible things. You liberated your own kingdom with only a small but loyal army. I still owe you everything for you saving me like that, and nothing I can do will ever repay that debt, not even when I risked my life to save your own. But besides that, you managed to give something this world has never had, a chance at everlasting peace. Rosary shook her head. If anything, Yggdra, anyone just being able to speak to you has already been graced with a gift greater than any they could possibly ever get. Rosary's flattery seemed to have affected the blonde girl greatly. She looked down at the floor as she blushed. Once more, Rosary's willpower was stretched to its limit to not just embrace the girl and kiss her right then and there. She just looked absolutely adorable. The queen seemed unable to think of something to say, so the witch filled in the awkward silence quickly. And now, Yggdra, all flattery and compliments aside, I have some very serious things to ask you. Well, what do you need to ask me? asked the timid girl in a shy tone, lifting her head to look at Rosary. Well, first, I'm your friend, right? Of course. How could you? And as your friend, said the witch, cutting off Yggdra, I'm obliged to tell you when something very important is on my mind, right? Yggdra merely nodded in response as Rosary sipped some tea before continuing. So then I have something very important to tell you. The witch tucked some of her honey-brown hair behind her ear as she stood up and walked over to the open window and looked out. She didn't turn around, but she could practically feel Yggdra watching her with so much concern and kindness. Rosary took a deep breath before she spoke, softly and in a calm tone. I love you, Yggdra. I love you more than anything. Yggdra Ural Artwaltz had come to the White Rose Manor out of concern for her very close friend Rosary Esmeralda. The messenger had made it very clear something was very much on the noblewoman's mind, and made it very clear that whatever was on her mind was a severe threat to her health and well-being. At first, Yggdra had wondered if Rosary was just sick, but that didn't make any real sense considering how the messenger had described the noblewoman's behavior. But now, the reason behind Rosary's odd behavior was so clear as day. She's lovesick. Although now that she knew the reason behind her friend's behavior, another problem was at hand. Rosary Esmeralda was head over heels in love with Queen Yggdra Ural Artwaltz, 32nd monarch of Fantasia. It was a very shocking revelation to say the least, and it registered on the girl's face. I'm sorry, Yggdra. I don't know why I love you, but the witch's tone of voice sounded so pained and sorrowful, it made Yggdra's heart hurt hearing Rosary speak in such a tone. But from the day we met, I felt an odd feeling. I really didn't notice it, though, until you came to my rescue. Pardon the overused phrase, but you were like my knight in shining armor. You risked your life to save me. I thought I was doomed to spend the rest of my days in some prison cell, but you were there. Even after I treated you so poorly when we first met, you still risked everything for my sake. When I offered my aid to you, I didn't offer it all out of the gratitude for saving me, no. My main reason was so I could still be close to you. I hadn't realized it yet, but I'm sure I would have traded anything in the world, even my Ankh, just to be by your side. Fighting alongside of you filled me with such joy I felt I could accomplish anything. Not one, not even the Emperor himself, could stop me. Then you were captured, and it seemed like my entire world had collapsed. It felt like my heart had been torn in half. I was filled with so much grief and sorrow. I felt alone without seeing you. I felt like nothing I did was important without seeing your smile and hearing your voice. It must have been when I pulled you down from that scaffold that I realized what my feelings had been, why I felt so different around you. I was just, simply put, madly in love with you. I've been always wondering how it would turn out if I told you. It caused me no end of worry, and now that I've told you, I feel a lot better. Like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, but I'm so sorry, Yggdra. Why are you sorry? Because my love for you is unnatural, isn't it? You're a girl, I'm a girl, but yeah, I love you. I want to hold you, hug you, and kiss you. You're everything to me, and that's why I'm sorry. Having to tell you something that is so unnatural, something I should have never told you, I... Rosary was practically crying as tears started to stream down her face. She was going to say more when she felt someone embrace her from behind. Thin, slender arms wrapped firmly around the witch's waist, and a head resting on her shoulder. Then sudden close contact caused the witch's heart to flutter, and time seemed to slow for Rosary as she enjoyed the tender embrace. Don't be sorry, Rosary. Please don't. And if you think you are someone horrible because of your love for me, then I have to be too. Those words caused the witch's heart to race. She could hear her heartbeat. Too? Why would Yggdra think she's horrible unless... No! It can't be! Does... I love you, Rosary, stated Yggdra in a simple, sweet tone. It was such a simple statement, but it was enough that Rosary felt like she had died and gone to heaven. The witch couldn't stop herself anymore, and in almost no time at all she found herself holding Yggdra tightly around the girl's thin waist as her lips were pressed hard against the blonde girl's lips. Neither of the two knew how long their lips met, but it must have been quite a bit, as when their lips finally parted, both girls were practically gasping for breath, their faces red from a mixture of lack of oxygen and blushing. After just a few seconds to catch their breath, their lips met again, and again, and again. Even when one of Rosary's servants happened to walk in on the two kissing so passionately and vigorously, they didn't stop. They just shooed the servant out and locked the door. No one was able to get into that room until the next morning, when the two finally emerged, looking quite disheveled and practically glowing as they held hands. Mistress Rosary, Queen Yggdra, are you two all right? You locked the door and there was some odd sounds, started one of Rosary's servants. That was until she took a good look at the ruffled clothing of the two girls and the messy hair. Then suddenly her face turned beet red. I see. Uh, if you'll excuse me. Author's note. Hope you liked it. And yes, the end of this is such innuendo.